Hello, this is Wanchen Zhao. This video, I will reflect on my lesson plan and delivery in conjunction with Cloud Goldenberg's articles. The lesson that I did was 7th grade geometry, chapter 10, circles. Okay, this lesson base model is the 5E model developed by Roger Bybee, and it's a widely accepted instructional model used in science and STEM curriculum design. Based on constructive approach, the 5Es are engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate. It encourages students' engagement and increase them to ask questions, but it is missing a closer step. So when I read my lesson plan, I added a before assessment step. The lessons CO is that students can mark out the circumference, diameter, and the radius of a circle and calculate the circumference of a circle. And the LO is they can write a poster to explain what pi is. So I used this little book, storybook called Circumference and the Dragon of Pi. It is a lovely story about all the mathematical elements of a circle. I had my students read it in a pair and find all the characters' names. I also offer my students a video of this story for those who prefer visual learning. The two students in my class are both American. Still, one is from an immigrant family from India, and he only speaks English. And the other one is from an immigrant family from Mexico, and she is bilingual in Spanish and English. Many connections can be found in all these three articles. I found the most connections in unlocking the research on English learners. In terms of support, I found that these experts support my lesson. First of all, I share my LOCOs with my students at the beginning of the class, and then for the media part, we have a video of circumference and the dragon of pi to help students who need additional English support. For language cognitive, we during the class, we will point out and help students to realize these mathematical terms in Spanish are very similar to those in English. This have a lot of advantage for the students whose home language is Spanish. For the students who only speak English, also told me that he think the video help a lot because a mathematical term could be a new vocabulary to him even. So have a video to read it to him and to show him the pronunciation of a vocabulary. He think that's useful. For these part, hands-on activities is we have it during the first cognitive instruction part because we feel like students with hands work they're more engaged and they leave a deeper impress on them. So we have students to use a wood plate and a yarn to figure out the relationship between circumference and the diameter, which is they can only get three full diameters and will have a small piece of yarn left over. Um, and this represents the pi. And no matter how big the wood plate or small it is, the wood plate is. Okay, so apply the knowledge to the new situation. We have it for independent project. So in this part, me and my students, we did after they learned it, I asked them as a group to go around the classroom to find anything have a circle, measurement three different things, and then determine the diameter, radius, and then calculate circumference. and so to in hope to help them to realize the relationship between the circumference and the diameters. In the article of English language development, I find these experts support my lesson. The first two are again emphasize the importance and the necessary of language objectives, and the last one is tied to the group activity. I have one thing I'd like to point out is regardless your student's English level, it is still very necessary to have a clear rule for activities before they do the activity. Two of my students, although they come from immigration family, but they grow up here, so their English proficiency level is high. But we during a class, we both feel like it's necessary for them to learn the rules and to understand what to do before they actually go ahead to do it. Okay, in this article, it mainly discussed the importance of a home language in dual language education. So it is very challenging for me to find experts to support my lesson plan because I can't provide home language instruction. So the only thing I can use to support my lesson plan from this one, the positive is positive language skill transfer, which is cognitive. That we also talk about it in unlocking the research on English learners. The experts that I find in unlocking the research on English learner article that is challenging my lesson plan. I don't have these in my lessons planned because they're asking authentic material or home language instruction support. I don't speak my students' home language, so in my class, I only can use maybe language positive transfer, such like cognitive, to help my students. But I'm actually hesitant to use it because I don't know Spanish that well. I have to Google to search and to make sure I'm not linking or pointing out something like wrong. Um, so this is again proved to me shouted instruction is very important and is practical to a lot of content teachers. In English language development article, I find these three experts challenging my lessons planned. I either never thought about it or weak about these points. The first one is a new information to me. I never thought this will work, and after read the article, the researcher I actually find out this is an effective way to help students. I may try it in the future. So feedback. Corrective feedback. I do give them feedbacks, but this one is emphasizing not it's not about you do it or not. It's about the timing. When do you do it? And this one is emphasizing on when you first to teach students the academic words or the content words. We should give a lot of language corrective feedback to students, and it can be beneficial to the students. The last one is about the classroom communications and routines. I feel like during I planned this particular lesson, I didn't put this in my mind and then pay attention on this part, but I totally agree with it because I use routines in my Chinese class, and it helped a lot. Learner. This article is majorly about how students' home language in a dual language program can help students to learn English readings, to get better on English learning, or getting social benefits that in a second language environment couldn't offer. And these two I talked about a lot previously about how it's out of my ability or maybe a lot of teachers' ability to offer to their students. But the last one, and talking about a family's support, I think this is something me and a lot of other teachers could do. based on this research point, because we can offer some homeworks to the students that involve the parents and the students can do it together. So this help students learning the content better. I couldn't agree more about this. School must become a place for teacher productively development. A lot of people, like teachers, researchers, get together, spend a lot of time trying to figure out uh, what's the more effective way to educate ELs or help them about their academic study, but there are no 100% correct answer yet. So as a teachers, we can keep designing our class and try it out and based on the feedback and correct it and then try again. But a teacher couldn't do this unless they have the knowledge. So this requires schools give teachers time and space to productive development themselves in order to help our students. And this is all about my video. Thank you for watching.